How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This video is going to be quite a bit different than what you normally see on the channel in the sense that it has nothing to do with custom water cooling or any other crazy custom modding for that matter. As the story goes, my son's friend, he's 14, he was wanting to build a custom gaming PC. So his mom got in touch with me and asked if I could help out, to which I obliged. Now, instead of just building the PC for him, I figured it'd be a lot more fun to sort of guide him through the process of building his own gaming PC. Now, she told me that she had a $750 budget to work with, and her main concern was just making sure that it was going to last him a while. And even though $750 is a little bit of a tight budget for a gaming PC, I assured her that I would be able to make that work. Now, normally you would have to make pretty significant compromises with that budget, but I was actually able to put together a very capable gaming PC, which is part of the reason I decided to go ahead and make this video so I could share with you guys how I chose the parts. Now, when building a gaming PC, most people first choose a graphics card and then they sort of build around that, which isn't necessarily a bad idea, but I prefer to build around a good platform. Now, the graphics card is an easy thing to upgrade, and I figure it's something he could do in a few years as his gaming needs sort of become more demanding. So I wanted to get him on the most current platform and use quality components that I knew he could get at least 5 or so years of good use out of. Now, I started out with the quad-core Intel i5 7500, which is arguably the best value on the market right now for pure gaming. I paired that with the Gigabyte H270N Wi-Fi motherboard. It's a mini ITX form factor and it has built-in wireless, which is nice. And then I added 16 gigabytes of Crucial Ballistic Sport DDR4 RAM, which would be plenty of RAM for him for the foreseeable future. Now, we picked up those 3 components from Micro Center, where we were able to get the processor for $180. We got the RAM for $120, and then we picked up the motherboard as a clearance item. We actually only paid $65. Because when you bundle a processor and a motherboard at Micro Center, you get a $30 bundle discount as well. So that took us to $365. On Amazon, we picked up the EVGA 500 watt bronze rated power supply for $40. We picked up a 500 gigabyte Samsung 850 EVO solid state drive for $160. And then for the case, we picked up the new Cougar QBX mini ITX case for $60. Now, with only about $100 or so left in the budget, you might be wondering how I was able to squeeze in any sort of decent graphics card, but fortunately, a friend of mine recently upgraded, so he was selling his GTX 970, and I was able to pick that up off of him for $100. Now, the GTX 970 is still a really good card for 1080p gaming, and funny enough, about a week or so after we did this build, Joker Productions actually uploaded a video where he went back through and essentially benchmarked all of the current 2017 titles with a GTX 970 and kind of showed how good that card actually still performs. So I'm going to go ahead and link that video down in the description in case you guys are interested in checking it out. But bottom line is if you can pick up one of these cards for around $150-ish, which is right around the price that they're going for, it's a very compelling option rather than spending $200+ on, say, a 1060 or a 580 or whatever card you might be able to find on the shelf. So that's how I was able to make this budget work really well for us. Now, getting the discount on the motherboard and then buying the used GTX 970 for $100 is really what saved us from having to make any real significant sacrifices when putting together this gaming PC. Now I'm going to go ahead and get into the build tutorial. If you're interested in seeing how easy it is to build this type of PC, I think you'll find this video informative, possibly even a little entertaining. So I suggest you keep watching. Otherwise, I appreciate you guys sticking around up to this point, and I will catch you guys in the next video.
I had a question and then you started rolling.
That's fine. It doesn't matter because I'll just cut out.
Do I have to smile?
Jack.
He's my dog now.
Chill out, bud. All right, so with me today is my son Holden. Say hi.
Hey. Stop sneezing! You should
You're not allowed to do that! We're trying to film YouTube!
Like knock on the ceiling and be like...
So with me today is my son Holden.
Hey.
And his friend Oliver.
Hi.
And we're here today because Oliver needs help building his first custom gaming PC because Up until now, Oliver has been gaming on what exactly?
An all-in-one PC. It's not very good.
An all-in-one PC, okay. And what games have you been playing on your all-in-one PC?
I've tried to play Overwatch. I don't really play it very much because it's not fun playing it on the settings I have to.
And what kind of performance are you getting in Overwatch right now?
On the lowest settings, I get like 15 to 20 FPS. It's not very good.
Okay. So needless to say, you're not really playing too much Overwatch then.
No.
And then you also play, what, CSGO?
Yeah.
And how about that? That one's probably not too bad, but probably not too great either.
No.
What sort of FPS are you seeing in CSGO?
I don't really check it very much, but if I'd have to guess, I'd say 30 to 45.
Okay, which is also not very good. So our goal here is to build a gaming PC that will last Oliver a little while. We need to target 1080p at 60 hertz. And sorry, the dog's knocking the camera around. Jack. So our goal here is to put together a nice gaming PC for Oliver where he can play the games he likes to play in 1080p, hopefully hit that 60 FPS mark in most of those games. I don't think that should be a problem. And we are doing this with a $750 budget, but that does not include a monitor or any of the peripherals because Oliver already had that stuff. So first, let's go over the parts that we're going to be using, and then we'll get into the build. So we're taking a quick look here at the components that are going to be going into Oliver's gaming PC. I'll go ahead and start off with the processor. We're using the Intel Core i5 7500. We're pairing that up with the Gigabyte H270N Wi-Fi motherboard, mini ITX motherboard that has built-in AC wireless. I've got 16 gigabytes of Crucial Ballistics Sport. I've got a 500 watt bronze rated power supply from EVGA. We're using a 500 gig Samsung 850 EVO solid state drive. We're putting it all in the fairly new release from Cougar, the mini ITX case. I believe it's called a QBX. And then to top it all off, we're going to be using the EVGA GTX 970 for the Win Plus from the previous 900 series NVIDIA lineup. We're going to start out with the three sort of core components here. We've got the motherboard, we got the processor, then of course the heatsink and fan that comes with this particular Core i5. The overclockable processors do not come with a stock heatsink and fan, so keep that in mind. And then our two RAM modules here. So Oliver, the first thing I want you to do is we're going to go ahead and install the processor.
Okay.
So what you need to do is you need to see this little lever right here.
Move that box out of the way.
So kind of push down on that a little bit and move it out to the side, and it'll come up in the air, and that whole like lid will lift off of there.
Okay.
This whole piece right here will lift up. There you go.
Okay.
And that exposes all of your pins. So then go ahead and take your processor. Now you want to try to just hold it around the edges
Okay.
on the silicone. Now pay attention, you see there's a little triangle?
Yeah, right there.
Okay?
Does that line up with the
That
triangle?
matches up with this triangle at the bottom left. And what you want to do is just very gently set that in there. You don't need to push it in. There you go. It just kind of...
Is that in?
Yep, just sits in there snug. And then you want to put that... So leave the lever up. And then that slides down. There you go.
And then
Push it back down.
does
That'll
this have
pop.
to come off?
Well, the black thing will just pop
Oh,
off when
okay.
you push
And
it
then
down.
this just gets pushed back down?
Yep,
Okay.
there you go.
I kind of felt like I was going to break it.
Yeah, that's kind of scary, but...
Next is this, right?
Yep, so what you want to do is you want to look at... So your fan pin has to plug into this white fan header here.
Okay.
So we want to kind of try to, usually you can put it on right side up and then you can easily plug it in there. So all you got to do is set it on there gently. Go ahead and take it. Set it on there gently. See these 4 holes? Those little feet are going to kind of line up with those. And then you just push them in. You'll feel them click.
I think that one went.
Alright, I'm going to double check, make sure they're all clicked. And then what you do is you take these and you just give them a little quarter turn,
So,
and that gets them locked in place.
like that.
Yep, that's it.
This one needs to get.
And then go ahead and take your fan. It's a 4-pin PWM header. You're going to plug that into that white.
Just go like
Yep.
this.
Actually, they've got it.
Does it go this way?
Hold on. For some reason, this thing's inside here. We don't want it to interfere with the fans. I don't know why they did that. So, but yeah. So you're going to want to turn that so that.
Like this.
Yeah. It's a little bit weird to get the hang of, but there you go.
Okay, I think we have the fan.
Yep, we're good. Usually I just like to make sure that these fan cables don't interfere with the fan blades anywhere.
Okay.
And the next thing is, before you install the RAM modules, you want to open it up first. So yeah, so there's these 2 little tabs here. Yep.
Okay.
Now it's going to be a little bit longer on one section than it is the other. So when
you can't put it in backwards.
you can't put it in back. I mean, if you did, it would be very bad. So you want to kind of guide the edges in.
And then you have to push.
Yep, it'll
Then-
click itself into place. There you go.
Just right. Now it goes like this.
Yep. Cool.
Okay.
So we've got the case disassembled and broken down so that we can access everything we need to and start getting the components installed. This case is quite a bit unique in the sense that the layout's totally different than what you would normally see in a mid or full tower case. The power supply actually mounts up front here. The board is going to go in this spot here. Then the cables, you know, this section down here, aside from where the graphics card goes, I guess we're going to have to route cables down and around. We'll have to figure that out as we start to get this installed. But I took out the little 80 or 90 millimeter fan, whatever it is, that comes with the case. We're not going to be using that. And I went ahead and found a couple extra fans I had laying around to use to get some better airflow in here, and also hopefully won't be as loud. Those little fans tend to spin up quite a bit faster in order to make up for their small size. So Oliver, the first thing you want to do before you put anything in is this little I/O plate here. You need to pop that in from the inside and make sure that, hold on, make sure you put it in to where it's going to match up with the I/O on the motherboard. So you're going to want your all your audio ports on the bottom. It's all the little holes. There you go. Yeah.
Like this.
Yep. Yeah, it just kind of snaps into place. Sometimes it can be a little tricky. Jack, knock it off.
It's like sharp on this end and this end's not going in.
Yeah, they designed it that way so it cuts your fingers.
Oh. Thanks.
It's not a true PC building experience if you don't bleed a little bit. Alright, so we got the I/O plate installed. It was a little bit, it was a little trickier than usual. I guess it probably just has to do with the case design. So now you are ready to put the motherboard in. So normally you would have little standoffs. The way this case is designed, it's got these little bump ups, so you don't actually have to put any standoffs in. These raise the board up above the case. And then I've got some 4 screws set aside for you because on an ITX motherboard, you've basically just got the 4 screws at the 4 corners. So go ahead and just kind of gently pick it up from the edges. And normally what you want to do is kind of...
Not sharp on the bottom.
Yeah, there's all the little things down there.
So I'm guessing this has to line up with the things on there.
And I usually kind of tip it in to where it sort of pushes in to the back I/O plate. And then just kind of look and see where... Usually you push against the I/O plate a little bit.
Okay, so I think this looks like all the holes are lined up.
Yep, that looks good. So I just need a trusty Phillips head screwdriver. So normally at this stage, I would start connecting all of the front I/O. I'm not going to do that just yet. We'll kind of set the power supply in and see what kind of space we have to work with. Again, since this has got kind of a different layout than we're used to seeing, I want to wait and see how that's going to situate itself to see how we can route these cables. You know, this case doesn't have a window on the side, so you don't have to, you know, it doesn't have to look super clean, but we do want to at least do a decent job managing the cables in here. So we got the power supply installed, so kind of got the cords just dangling out over here. So try to get a better idea now. Now obviously the graphics card is going to take up this space down here, so maybe what we should do is maybe feed these cables through this hole here, maybe try to have them pop out. I think there's enough space we could have them come out just above the graphics card here, because our front audio connector has to plug in over here. Our front panel for our on and off switch and reset has to go in up here. And then our USB 3.0 header goes right in the middle here. So yeah, so let's do that. Figuring this out was a little bit of a challenge, so I went ahead and did this. I didn't shoot the whole thing because had to sort of actually had to unscrew the motherboard again to be able to get the USB 3 connector to come through. There's a little gap in here if I can get it to show up. But anyway, decided that this was the best way to route. I went ahead and pre-installed one of my SATA connectors for the SSD too. So this way, you know, they're going to come across here, not interfere with the graphics card any, because that is always a little bit of a challenge when it comes to an ITX build, is that full-size graphics card will take up a lot of space. So you have to keep that in mind, and there's not really a way to kind of cross over that. So, and then the front panel pins are tucked in down here. So now the 24 pin goes here, so I know I'm going to have to fudge this a little bit. But I do believe this is going to work, so we'll find that out here real soon. So next up is the solid state drive. So that is actually going to slide in this spot here, but all you need to do is slide it in and make sure that the connectors are facing this way. You can't have them the other way because it's got this little stop here.
To make sure you don't get it the wrong way.
And then you take the tiny little screws and
secure it.
Just to secure it in. Alright, so you got it in there snug, and then we've got the SATA data connector that I've already connected to the motherboard because it had to go in conjunction with these other cables here. But all you do is take this guy here. Now they're keyed, you know, it can only go in one way, but you're just gonna slide it on and it's connected. You know, we may have to redo that when we cable manage, and then the SATA power connector is going to connect in there. Most motherboards, like the vast majority of them, are going to have 2 spots that you have to worry about plugging power into. You've got your 24 pin, which is the main power, and then there's, on most motherboards it's an 8 pin. On a lot of ITX motherboards it's just a 4 pin. That's going to deliver power to your CPU. So this is a non-modular power supply, so all the cables are already attached to it. But we've got the 24 pin that will plug in here, and then you've got your CPU connection or 8-pin EPS. It can be called a couple different things, but they're almost always split in two like this, because the fact that you do have some of these motherboards that only require 4 pins rather than 8. There are even some other extreme motherboards out there that might even require more than 8 pins, but that's pretty rare. The only other things you're going to have to worry about connecting is you're going to need one SATA connection for your SSD, and then you need your power for your graphics card, which is going to be PCI Express power. So you just need essentially these 3 main ones, and then you've only got the one peripheral, which is your solid state drive for SATA. Everything else is just, we'll have to bundle it up and kind of find a spot for it in the case where it'll be out of the way. I think since we are not going to be putting a hard drive in, we could probably bundle everything up here kind of on top. We got a little bit of space to work with, but we'll worry about that last. Okay, so a little bit of a change of plans. Turns out by having the 24 pin come up through this spot here, it was going to be interfering with the top mounted 120 millimeter exhaust fan. So we'll just bring it around the front here. There's, like I said, there's plenty of space to work with. And the rest of these cables we will take and sort of bundle up here. I'm going to go ahead and stick a couple zip tie downs onto the back of the power supply we could use to bundle up the cables and keep them tight and out of the way. And then all that's going to be left to do is install the graphics card and connect the power. So we did exactly what I kind of wanted to accomplish here. I've got these tightly routed out of the way. There's plenty of space back in here where the cables are tucked up. The graphics card should only come to about here. And then all we'll have left to do is have this one power connector for it. So, got that bad boy ready?
Mm-hmm. Guessing it just goes right down here.
Yep, and you'll feel it click into place. And then,
oh, there's a thing right here. Does that have to be put back?
Yep.
I just saw that as I was putting it in.
Sometimes you gotta adjust it a little bit, but as long as you're lined up with the PCIe slot and then the little bracket on the back.
It just came off.
Oh, that's a little retention bracket. I didn't even realize that was back there. That's probably why you were having a hard time. Sometimes on the ITX cases they'll have these sort of retention brackets in the back.
Okay, that seems like a lot. Okay, I think that was
there you go.
Because
yeah, that was in the way. That's why you were having trouble. I didn't even see that back there.
Screw.
Yeah, you've got plenty of space back here to work with. So this has got an 8+ 6-pin connection. So you can see there's 2 on here. So you'll be using the full 8-pin for one, and then just the 6-pin for the other. So go ahead and connect her up. So all we're going to do, we'll fix this cable here. We will screw these back down. I'm going to take this little retention piece here, screw that back down. And then all that will be left to do is put the panels back on, connect up the fans, and you will have a fully built system.
I'm happy.
I would say overall, this turned out pretty nice. So
Final panel.
put that final panel on there.
I don't have the thumb screws. Wait.
Oh God. How's it feel to put the final screw in your...
It's good and it's done.
Do you feel like you want to shed a tear?
Yeah.
Well, not yet. Last step is we'll plug it in and we'll make sure
first we have to see if it even works.
Yes, let's make sure it boots up. So let's do that. Alright, so she's plugged in and it's time to see if she boots. So do the honors.
It's right there.
Yep. Oh, the fan's on. That's a good sign always. let's go into the BIOS and just double check everything. Hit Control Alt Delete on there. And then as it's booting, just
Press
keep
F11.
the delete key.
Oh, delete.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just keep pressing it. You have to press it a million times. Everybody knows that.
Okay.
All right.
Extra point 1.
Yeah. So there is our solid state drive. So yeah, everything works. First boot, no problems. Now all that's left to do is install Windows, get all of the drivers installed, update to the latest version of Windows, and just make sure you're ready to rock and roll. Then you'll be gaming at least 23 FPS. Isn't that what you were going for?
Yeah.
23? That's better than 20.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll be fine.
I can finally run Minesweeper at 4K.
All right, so we're good. How do you feel?
I'm happy because
I mean, I'm sure you'll be more
I
happy
need
when
this.
you're actually gaming, but built your first PC. How many of your friends have done that?
I don't really know. Holden did.
Holden hasn't done it.
Oh.
I do all his.
Okay, then I guess
He's a
one.
scrub.
Then I guess one.
Awesome. All right, man. Well, that was fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sort of.
Oh wait, never mind. I was
Go back to
We
studying.
don't like you.
I already finished studying.
Get at
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.